All right, continuing on with the patrons, we have military force listed next. Pretty much any country, any kind of organization of any type is going to have their own military force. If they didn't, they wouldn't be around for very long. So looking at the military force here, they tell you your group serves as a team of soldiers in a larger military force, one dedicated to combat missions or other dangerous tasks. You could be a band of mercenaries, a special forces unit, or a squad of regular infantry. Perhaps you protect a nation's people from monsters, or you fight secret battles in the wake of a war that has supposedly ended, or the nature requires military forces at the edges of civilization to protect the frontier. That sounds like a good one there. And to lead advancement into new territory. So they have some types of military forces listed here. Military forces represent a variety of organized bands of warriors. They can be disciplined regiments of a nation's standing army, a fleet of ships compromising a kingdom's armada, or a devastating horde of warriors and magical beasts. Last one there sounds pretty good. A given kingdom's military could be a rigidly ordered force or a blood-soaked throne. Roll or pick from the military forces table. So up here, number one, they have standing army. That's probably the first one most people would think of. A standing army serves as the highly disciplined and structured guardian of a province of an entire nation. Strict tiers of command ensure coordination between branches of the force. Second, mercenary company. Hard-bitten veterans of numerous conflicts. Mercenaries serve an employer for coin rather than out of loyalty. So loyalty or money, either way there. Number three, expeditionary force. This military force is far from home, fighting behind enemy lines or striking into wild, unsettled lands. The force must be fast, self-sufficient, and either diplomatic or decisive to assure their survival. Sounds like a typical party in D&D. Next here, number four, horde. The horde is almost a force of nature, and what it lacks in discipline it makes up in ferocity. I was thinking barbarians with this group here. It doesn't have a rigid command structure, instead functioning like a pyramid of smaller armies. Horde commanders owe fealty to stronger leaders above them all the way up to the warlord. Number five, planar conscripts. This military force battles for cosmic stakes on far-flung planes of the multiverse or fights against extraplanar invasion on the material plane. Warriors include conscripts pressed into service in the Blood War, fodder in the thrall of ruthless Yugoloth mercenaries, or members of a glorious celestial host defending against fiendish incursion. The fiends sound like a good one there. And then number six, Sky Warriors. This could be a fun one. This military force consists of winged creatures, employs magical flight, or sails airships as a sky navy. Traditional defenses are ineffective against attacks from the air, positioning the Sky Warriors as a fearsome nation or expensive and coveted mercenaries. So looking under the military force perks. First one they have is an armory, obviously. You can purchase non-magical weapons and armor at a 20% discount at a facility associated with your military force. You can buy magic items at the DM's discretion, but you receive no discount on those. After the armor, you get the chain of command. You are part of a hierarchy that provides you with orders. If you cause trouble in your own nation, you answer to your officers, not law enforcement. And then third here, official access. Your rank in the military force grants you access to places that are off limits to civilians. With your commander's permission, you can enter dangerous training grounds or military installations like an Army's regional headquarters or a repository of top secret intelligence. You can also request that your commander grant you authority to act in their name and provide access to experts or leaders higher in the chain of command. After that are orders. You undertake your missions at the direction of a commanding officer who expects your absolute obedience. These missions have clear and precise goals, leading you on the path of adventure. In rare cases, you're trusted with open-ended tasks that afford you leeway in interpreting orders. And then lastly, salary. Each member of your group earns a regular salary or share of the military force's spoils. The amount varies depending on your organization and your position within it, but at minimum you enjoy a modest lifestyle. You receive a small salary, maybe as little as 1 silver piece a day, and food and housing on a military base. or you receive 1 gold piece per day but rely on that money for room and board. With higher rank comes higher pay. As an officer, you maintain a comfortable lifestyle. So now you got military force contacts. Who would be the person you'd speak with. Your primary contact within your hierarchy is your superior officer, the person who gives you orders and is responsible for your success or failure. So here they have a military force contact table, the first one being a tested veteran. Your commander is a battle-scarred officer who experienced horrors in combat. They rely on something to dull the pain of their memories or wounds, from a favorite rites prose to a distracting vice. Second here, taskmaster. This angry officer yells every order, reprimands you for the smallest mistake, and fully expects you to fail at every mission you undertake. Sounds like a drill sergeant from a movie. This might be tough love or simple brutishness. Number 3, protective officer. A kindly officer is hesitant to send you into danger and constantly reminds you to be careful. 4, a bitter soldier. Your commander carries deep grudges against your enemy's forces. They leap at any chance to do those foes harm, even if it puts your group in terrible risk. 5, a hopeful commander. This optimistic officer knows that a new era of peace is just over the horizon. You just need to complete these last few missions, then it should all finally be over. And then 6, devout leader. Your commander is a person of deep faith. They believe that your success or failure lies entirely in divine hands, and you are the instruments of that will. Sounds more like a cleric right there. So right beside it, military force envoys. You might join a military force for a wide range of reasons, or the military has reasons for seeking you out. Those with specialized skills contribute to a range of missions, from infiltration and mystical operations to diplomacy and strategy. Perhaps your past deeds or the will of your family pushes you towards military service, regardless of whether you believe you're suited to such a life. So there's a military force envoy roles. So here we have roles of combatant, tactician, medic, scout, provocateur, and spy. And of course, there are the backgrounds that go with each one of those right there too. So right after that, they have the military quest listed. The wide-ranging work of a military unit calls for power and subtlety. Your missions could run the risk of shattering a fragile peace recently established with a rival nation and plunging multiple nations back into war. Or perhaps your group's missions pit you against rival combatants during an active engagement as you influence the war effort. Rival mercenary companies, armed resistance fighters, and monsters drawn to the presence of bloodshed also present familiar threats. So looking at the military quest, number 1, strike force. You undertake a quick, strategic, and devastating attack against an enemy force. Sounds like a fun one there. Number 2, defensive operations. You must preserve the safety of an important location, such as a civilian population center, a supply depot, or strategically critical bridge or seaport. Maybe kind of like an Alamo-like situation where the enemies just keep coming. Number 3, special forces. You're assigned to a covert operation behind enemy lines. This is similar to the work of a spy or an assassin, but with a broader scope. You engage in equipment sabotage or execute targeted strikes against high-value targets. Number 4, reconnaissance. You gather information on enemy troop numbers, placements, movement, or supply caches and routes. Number 5, seek and destroy. You're responsible for hunting down specific high-value and dangerous targets, which include deserters, suspected enemy special forces, or magical war machines run amok. That's a good one. And then 6 here, siege. You're assigned to initiate a siege on an enemy stronghold or help break a siege in progress on an allied fortress. So there's just some of the ideas for quests that could go with the military group. So that's a good little section right there. Expands out on all this quite well. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.